I'm back. I was speaking about Assimil, which is a very good method that has a very practical approach. Obviously, nothing is perfect, but you can get with this the recordings of the lessons. The idea is to learn in a context. Every 7 lessons there is a grammar recapitulation of what has been going on in in the previous lessons. So many people struggle with learning foreign languages, and that is due to the wrong approach of learning a language like you learn history, mathematics, or whatever else. For the most part, we should absorb the language in a very slow, steady, and progressive way. That's why a book with the recordings made by expert is the best option. Obviously, there come a time when you need to put all this into practice. But don't jump your guns. Don't try to speak in situations where you get only frustrated and you make other people annoyed. If you have somebody who is ready to help you, even if you're not ready really to speak, but we negotiate learning what you're saying and what you understand, what he's saying or she's saying and what you understand. So he's ready to use gestures, to use facial expressions, to use objects, you must be smart. If you don't know what the word rich, you can use the name of very rich people. And what do they have in common? They're rich. Berlusconi, Rockefeller, Donald Trump. What do you have in common? Nothing except money. That's the idea. Like you are in a foreign country, you need to get some information. So your aim is not I'm learning this language. No, I'm getting some information. And in the process of getting some information, unwillingly you will get some language. They tell you, they make the sign like this and they say on the right, and you are on the right. Maybe if you don't speak English, you don't understand on the right, but you understand that expression means on the left, straight ahead. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. That's a good way of learning a foreign language. But most people don't do that. Most people, you need to find somebody who's like your mentor, language mentor, your mother, your father, who taught you it's not only teaching, but in a way that, let's say, teach your first language. Obviously, a book with pictures is better, and when I learn words and object, I have a book with the name in Greek, for example, in Turkish, in English. So the image and the name, or the adjective, whatever, get in your mind and they stay there. Okay? You've seen the object. So, if you have somebody who in real life is ready to walk with you and ready to show you objects on the street or situations and try to use the language in a very simple way, that's a good head start. So, should I watch, for example, I watch something in Turkish now. I don't understand anything. It can be helpful to get in the swing of things sometimes, to listen to the rhythm of the language, and surely if I've been learning, there are words that I recognize, and now and then even a sentence. It takes time. It takes time. You just don't give up. Why should we give up? We give up things that we don't really like. Not feel things that we... you can do that in other domains. Doing something just because you think it's useful is painful. Let's see, when you are in the university and you have to study for examination, nobody likes it. Even if they are supposed to make a living out of what you've been studying, in spite of all that, we don't like it. Generally. Like we didn't like studying lesson at school and things like that. But if you don't feel like it's a chore, you feel like, okay, like I'm doing my riddles or my crosswords, and I know at the beginning, and now whenever I'm walking, I've downtime, I have my book, I have my recordings, and I like it. First of all, I like the way the book is, with pictures now and then, with small stories, and the fact that I can listen to these things. I have other books, but those are not my main. This is my meat and potatoes, bread and butter. The other books are okay, I bought them, can be useful to read, to live through, but they're not like Asimov. So, but if you start, as I said in my previous video, trying to memorize, these are the words, this is Birçak, this is Gözlük. Now I know this word in Turkish, but anyway, I've been exposed to these words. I forgot them a lot. You learn, you forget, you learn, you forget, you learn, and then after forgetting these words many times, they start to stick and you don't forget anymore. But it took a long time. And trying to do that in a tedious, conscious way makes your brain shut down. We don't like that. It's not repeating in a like a parrot things that you're learning. So I forget words. Yes, we do forget words because we are not computers. So a good book, progressive, done in a way that is things are in context. You start from the first lessons and you move on to the other lessons. You always review your previous lessons, so you don't want to go far and then okay, no, I haven't assimilated what it was before. So it's better to go. I'm speaking about languages that are really different. If you're Italian, you learn French, even English, Spanish, Portuguese. Okay, then there are other languages for us. There are European languages. I learned Greek. Yeah, you never learn a language, but I speak fluently, understand 80% of what I hear, even more. Depends on the subject. The structure of the sentence is basically different words, different grammar, but anyway, the word order and the way of thinking is the same. Turkish not. So you, boom, you slow, at the beginning is like a big wall in front of you. The way of thinking is different. The good side is there are not many irregularities. It's for the most part, a very regular language. Very logical, a different way of watching, of seeing things. But that's my don't learn just a language that is basically your language with some difference. Okay? Well, it's like French, Portuguese, Spanish, even Romanian. Even say Romanian is a little bit more difficult for us. Italian speakers. What opens your mind is a really different language. I mean, English is different from Italian, but not in a radical way. I want to go to the station. Voglio andare alla stazione. In Greek, θέλω να πάω στο σταθμό. I mean, it's a subject, a verb, a preposition, and where you want to go. And Turkish, I don't remember. Every word is different. What is the word for station? I know it. Yes, it's French. Station. Station A. Gimet, gitmek, istiorum. That means station 2, to go, I want. Yes, now I forgot station. But if you've been exposed to the language long enough, then this is a different structure. It comes second nature. Let's think that many Turkish people speak English, and they've gone through the same process backwards. I mean, they have to transform the Turkish structure into an Indo-European language structure. But once you learn an Indo-European language, all the other languages will be easier. So if you learn Turkish, there are languages that are not Turkish, but they have similar structure, like Hungarian, even Japanese. And then when you learn these languages, you have just to learn words, but the structure is familiar to you. So I wouldn't say that Turkish is so weird, because there are many other languages, except for other real Turkic languages that are the same, are in the same family. But there are other languages that think in a way that are very close to Turkish. So many people think, oh, you're learning Turkish is difficult. Oh, you speak Greek is difficult. No. Once you learn the language, it's not difficult. Now it's obviously, I still don't speak Turkish. So it's not that it is difficult. I'm still learning. And after all, I was scared of difficult things. Come on. Those things make life interesting. It's like watching a movie where everything is alright. You're not. You get bored. You need some action. And there are languages that have action. So I say, okay, if you really like Spanish or French, whatever, I would recommend, though, going the whole hog, embracing a language that is foreign to you. Okay? So if you speak a European language, except for Hungarian, Finnish, and Turkish, completely different languages. All the other non-European languages, Indo-European languages, that means Chinese, Korean, Turkish, Hungarian, Finnish. Oh, pay attention. There are some languages that many people think are not European, but they are. Like Persian, some of Indian Hindu. Those languages have the same origin. Even Sri Lanka have the same Indo-European origin. So you wouldn't find a completely way of making sentences. Sorry. Sorry. You can think that all Persian is completely different like Arabic. No. So, when you learn a language, try to get some information. Is this a European, Indo-European language or not? Okay, not all of Indo-European languages are very easy, like Russian. Russian can be even more complicated than Turkish. Turkish has a different structure, but then you bump into other problems, pronunciation, irregularities, and all these things can be more. But all in all, I'd say you have a working knowledge of a similar language faster. So some people like it, some people don't, because I don't feel like gratified by the fact that I'm learning fast, just because the thing that I'm learning is simpler. Remember, there are some languages that imply a very long and tedious work on the writing. Languages that don't have a phonetical spelling. English is quite complicated, but Chinese is, you have to memorize all those symbols. I'm not very familiar with Japanese. They have more phonetical way of writing. I really don't know. Korean is quite phonetical. It's completely different alphabet, but it is an alphabet. Like Arabic and Hebrew, they have alphabet. They don't have pictograms, or I don't know why, images. And you have to memorize each and every word. No. In Arabic, once you know the system, you know the sound, you know how to spell, to pronounce, and if you know how to pronounce, you know how to spell it, because there are different letters, but they are always letters. Basically, if you embrace the culture, embrace the sound of the language, embrace the fact that you will be exposed to this language each and every day, and that doesn't make you I want to read this in Turkish. I don't procrastinate. There was a period where I procrastinated. And there come a time there, okay, I like it. I'm learning. I'm reading it. It's like you reading something you like, a novel. And time is of the essence. Remember this. If you're exposed to the language every day in a progressive way, with a method, with the audio part, and you do it every day, 15-20 minutes at the beginning, because, and then in time you will automatically raise the bar and spend more time on the language, you will learn the language no matter what. Goodbye.